Today's presenting sponsor of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad is brought to you by 24K Wellness. Not all nutritional supplements are the same. 24K Wellness makes it their mission to help you feel, perform, and live at your best naturally and sustainably. 24K Wellness delivers nutritional supplements based on more than 5 decades of experience. Premium gold standard natural ingredients with advanced formulations and rigorous quality assurance testing to create products that support energy, recovery, vitality, long-term health, and cognition for focus through stress, late nights, and questionable decisions. No promises on your picks. And right now, special for Gambling Mad listeners only, go to 24kwellness.com and use the code MAD24K for the absolute lowest prices anywhere. Once again, that's 24kwellness.com and use the code MAD24K. 24K Wellness, fuel better, live better. Tell them Norm sent you. Norm and Chad. Norm and Chad. Time for our Mount Rushmore of old school snacks. Nothing new age, nothing sun-baked, nothing guilt-free. Let's start with Ruffles. Ruffles have ridges. Game over! You don't think ridges are not critical to Ruffles' success? The guy who thought of those ridges currently lives in Monte Carlo with his wife, his girlfriend, his mistress, and 2 Siberian Huskies. Okay, ridges are revolutionary. If the British had ruffles, we probably lose that war in 1783. And don't talk to me about wavy lays. Yeah, they're wavy. That's not ridges. Plus, there is the Ruffles taste. Pure, simple, and classic. Next, Cheez-Its. That's right, Cheez-Its, not Cheetos. All right, first off, I prefer the 100% real cheese taste of Cheez-Its. Secondly, you can eat Cheez-Its, say, in a tuxedo and not get an orangey mess all over it. Third of all, I love the squares. Perfect squares. Not rectangles, squares. And fifth of all, I am talking about the original Cheez-Its. Not any of those couple of dozen other bizarre flavors that ultimate Frisbee goofballs and beach volleyballers probably eat. Next, Bugles. Bugles. Good people, first let's talk about the fact that Bugles are shaped like bugles. This is next level brilliant. Would you eat a corn snack that's shaped like an accordion or a cello? No, but a bugle? But like a bugle? Sound the bells, sound the alarm, sound the bugles, which, by the way, I think is a song. Bugles taste like childhood. Bugles taste like pure innocence. There is no equivalent taste on the market. It is beyond distinctive. It is unique. No one has ever tried to duplicate or replicate Bugles. Can't be done. The key ingredient, degermed yellow cornmeal. And maybe a hint of monoglyceride. They don't tell you about. Shh. Finally, our last old school snack on the Mount Rushmore of old school snacks. Fritos! Who could see that coming? What, you expected Chex Mix or Pringles? Fritos are picked daily off of Central California trees. When you eat Fritos, you do not have a problem for the rest of the day. Not great for dipping? Then get Fritos Scoops, you dingleberries. Plus, the smell of a single Frito is a proven aphrodisiac. That's one of the 2 reasons the ladies always love to come home with the man. I am the man. There you have it, your Mount Rushmore of old school snacks: Ruffles, Cheez-Its, Bugles, and Fritos. There will be no Mount Rushmore of pizza chains. Pizzas have gotten a lot better in the good old USA the past couple of generations. Pizza chains have not. You all know the big ones: Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, Little Caesars. No, 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 and no. This is an area of American life in which you should definitely shop locally owned businesses. Your favorite pizza joint kills Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's, and Little Caesars. Heck, I'll take Costco pizza over Little Caesars every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And yeah, I don't mind eating pizza twice on Sunday. The pizza chains remain very cheap, but this is a case of you get what you pay for. You know, where are the Five Guys and Shake Shacks of the pizza world where we would pay a little more and get a better product? I wish I lived in the New York City metropolitan area or in New Haven, Connecticut, where those pizzas are 77 times better than the pizza chains. We got a lot of other great ones across the country, whether it's Detroit or Chicago or San Francisco or in Texas, believe it or not. You can find great ones everywhere these days. And let me just shout out 4 spots I go to that feel like home to me. Santillo's Brick Oven Pizza in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Lido Pizza in Wheaton, Maryland. Metro Pizza in Las Vegas. And Vito's Pizza here in Los Angeles. But sadly, as far as a Mount Rushmore of pizza chains goes, doesn't exist. Non-existent. Maybe for life. We are now proud and a bit burdened to present our Mount Rushmore of TV sitcoms. This is an impossible category. Among the runners-up, The Honeymooners, The Dick Van Dyke Show, MASH, Taxi, The Cosby Show, Cheers, Seinfeld, Roseanne, Arrested Development, and The Office. Okay, wherever you're sitting, you can think of 10 other shows off the top of your head that you think might be on the Mount Rushmore. There are so many shows to consider, only 4 slots available. Further, in the interest of full disclosure, and this is an embarrassing disclosure, I have never seen a single episode of The Simpsons or Curb Your Enthusiasm. Growing up, I watched every episode of The Flintstones and The Jetsons, but I still have not seen any of the 803 episodes of The Simpsons. If you want to eliminate me from your life right now, go ahead. I would understand. Also, before we get to the list, let me be clear about something else before we start. None of my Mount Rushmore selections are from the first quarter of this 21st century. All of them are from the last half of the 20th century. It is what it is. Don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, let's go to it. My Mount Rushmore of sitcoms. I Love Lucy. I grew up with the Ricardos and the Mertzes in reruns. They were funnier than anything in my family. Lucille Ball was a comic genius, and Desi Arnaz was some other type of genius, and it was magic. They were hilarious, whether the show was set in New York, or then they set it in Hollywood for part of a year, or in Europe, or even Connecticut. They made Connecticut seem funny in the 1950s. If you've never seen the episodes with Lucy stomping grapes in Italy, or Lucy on a chocolate assembly line, you have not lived. And by the way, this was a tough call for me. I Love Lucy or The Honeymooners from the 1950s. Jackie Gleason's Honeymooners was a meteor across the sky. One season, 39 fabulous episodes. I went with I Love Lucy on sustained excellence. Just so much volume. They did 180 shows over 6 years. Next, The Mary Tyler Moore Show. This was Mary Tyler Moore's second residency in sitcom greatness, following her turn as Laura Petrie in The Dick Van Dyke Show a decade earlier. A single working woman on TV was a big deal in 1970. And how about this cast? You know, we've seen just numerous outstanding sitcom ensembles. None are closer to TV perfection than Mary, Lou, Ted, and Murray, with Rhoda and Phyllis riding shotgun the first few seasons, then Sue Ann and Georgette the final few seasons. You know, like Seinfeld's, I can watch Mary Tyler Moore's on an endless loop and never get tired of the show. By the way, I used to consume an entire 8-ounce bag of Fritos while binging on Mary Tyler Moore. Now I might have to reconsider that routine. Next on the Mount Rushmore of TV sitcoms, All in the Family. People love saying All in the Family could never be made nowadays. I don't even know how it got made then. I mean, how did the topics they dealt with, pass the muster with the CBS Suits back in 1971? In 2026, Archie Bunker and Michael Stivic never would even stay under the same roof with their polarized political views. Like I Love Lucy and The Mary Tyler Moore Show, All in the Family relies on a sterling quartet of characters: Archie, Edith, Meathead, and Gloria. All in the Family and Mary Tyler Moore's runs overlap during most of the 1970s, as well-written, well-produced, and well-cast as any sitcoms ever. All in the Family and Mary Tyler Moore remind me of a simple notion: smart should never have an expiration date. Thank you, James L. Brooks and Norman Lear, for these two seminal shows. Finally, on the Mount Rushmore of TV sitcoms, The Larry Sanders Show. Larry Sanders overlaps with Seinfeld for almost the entirety of the 1990s. Seinfeld was more beloved. Larry Sanders was just a tad more brilliant, in my view. There's no denying the enduring excellence of Seinfeld's Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer. On the other hand, Larry Sanders was one short of the standard quartet sitcom ensemble, but Larry, Hank, and Artie didn't need a drummer. I love dark, and Larry Sanders shined the brightest light on the darkest recesses of Hollywood entertainment. We lost Gary Shandling too soon, but thankfully he lived long enough to create this epic. Larry Sanders on HBO did not have the broad audience of Seinfeld on NBC. If you missed it then, it deserves a look now. There you have it. Our Mount Rushmore of TV sitcoms: I Love Lucy, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, All in the Family, and The Larry Sanders Show. What, you disagree? I don't give a damn what you think! We gave you the Mount Rushmore of TV sitcoms last week: I Love Lucy, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, All in the Family, and The Larry Sanders Show. And I felt very guilty listing only about 10 runners-up, because there's a couple of dozen other sitcoms that would be considered in just about anyone's top 10 of all time. But in particular, with news of Catherine O'Hara's passing, I realized I failed to mention two other shows of note. One of them, the Canadian sitcom Schitt's Creek, which starred the wonderful Catherine O'Hara and the equally wonderful Eugene Levy, which then made me think of my unthinkable omission of Ted Lasso, right in front of us. A brilliant, uplifting addition to our TV culture the past several years. My apologies to all parties involved. Today's presenting sponsor of Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad is brought to you by 24K Wellness. Not all nutritional supplements are the same. 24K Wellness makes it their mission to help you feel, perform, and live at your best naturally and sustainably. 24K Wellness delivers nutritional supplements based on more than 5 decades of experience. Premium gold standard natural ingredients with advanced formulations and rigorous quality assurance testing to create products that support energy, recovery, vitality, long-term health, and cognition for focus through stress, late nights, and questionable decisions. No promises on your picks. And right now, special for Gambling Mad listeners only, go to 24kwellness.com and use the code MAD24K for the absolute lowest prices anywhere. Once again, that's 24kwellness.com and use the code MAD24K. 24K Wellness, fuel better, live better. Tell them Norm sent you.
Gambling Mad with Norm and Chad is written by Norm and Chad and ghost-written by Norm and Chad. Executive producers are John Scheinberg and Rick Barrio-Dill. Produced by Norman Chad and Rick Barrio-Dill. Our associate producers are Bree Khoury and Asher Friedberg, and edited by Asher Friedberg with studio facilities at 360 Pod Studios, Beverly Hills.